As we transition to the new normal, we have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and Tagpros learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because Tagpros believes that education is a right all children deserve.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jerome Jaime, an Apple Distinguished Educator, EdTech Coach, and a grade school teacher at Xavier School San Juan. I will be your host for today. Welcome back to Tagpros Children Live Webinar Workshops. This webinar workshop series is brought to you by Tagpros Children in partnership with Tagpros Education, an up-and-coming online K-12 education marketplace where passion takes the lead in learning. This event is also made possible by the Department of Education, International Cooperation Office, Teacher Education Network, and Next Series. Dear teachers, did you miss us? Well, we definitely missed you. And we are excited to show you what we have in store for you today. But before that, let's have a quick attendance check. Okay, let's recognize our participants. Okay, dear participants, educators and teachers all over the country. Okay, so we have people watching from Pagtalunan High School, Nueva Ecija. Hello, dear teachers. Santo Tomas. We have teachers from Magsaysay. Isabela. Wow, hello po. From Ifugao, SDO Ifugao. So we are definitely well participated this afternoon. We even have teachers coming from Bigan and San Jose del Monte. So welcome to our webinar this afternoon, the teachers. Right. So last webinar, we were joined by Miss Ivy Nahe and Mr. Jim Toscano to talk about how we teachers can manage burnout and stress. Today, we will learn about how we can make our classes immersive and engaging using Pear Deck and Class Dojo with Miss Maria Lynette del Castillo. As always, please practice responsible digital citizenship and refrain from sharing personal information in the comment section, and that includes your email and your contact number. Let's also be civil to one another in the comment section. Now, just in case you already forgot, registering for the webinar workshop or just watching the webinar workshop does not make you eligible for an e-certificate. If you want to receive an e-certificate for our webinar workshop, you have to answer the evaluation forms that we release after every session. After we open the form, you only have 1 week, okay, to answer it before we close it on Friday at 11:59 in the afternoon. If you miss this deadline, you will no longer be able to access or answer the evaluation form, even if you registered and joined the webinar session. We hope that you understand and remember this. Okay? Now, let's meet our guest resource speaker for today. She is an EdTech coach and computer teacher at Xavier School San Juan. She will share tips and tricks on how we can make our classes more immersive and engaging using the tools that she'll introduce us today. Let's all welcome Miss Maria Lynette del Castillo.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my session today about making classes immersive and engaging using Pear Deck and Class Dojo. You know what, teachers? I am really excited to share these powerful tools. Yes, you heard it right, powerful, because they have the power to change how you manage your classes online. And you can also do it offline when you are back to your face-to-face classrooms. So before we start with our session, I want you to type in the chat box or in the comment section #ready so that I know that you are still actively listening with me. Okay, please type it down below or in your chat box. Thank you so much, teachers. And now let's continue with our session. Again, I am Lynette del Castillo. Okay, my friends, my co-teachers, my colleagues calls me Lynette. I am an EdTech coach, a computer teacher, and for the past 2 school years, I am teaching Filipino in grade 2 level at Xavier School, San Juan. For our session for today, I will be talking about what is Pear Deck and Class Dojo. I know most of you has a basic knowledge already or knows about Pear Deck and Class Dojo already. Some of you might be using it already in your classes, but there are also some that are really new to these tools. So I will be talking about what these tools are about and how to apply these apps in your classes as well. Okay, will it be an effective tool for your classes? Will it really change how your students will participate in your classes? And some tips for remote learning and a little bit of exploration. Okay, now teachers, I want you to focus your attention to my screen. Okay, so now you can see here the challenges that we experience in the classes. Okay, so these are just some of the challenges. If you are still with me and you are hearing me very clearly, I want you to type in the chat box or in the comment section what are the challenges that you yourself experience in your online classes or in your classrooms. Okay, it can be this school year. You can also share it to us if it happened last school year. What are the challenges that you experience in your classes? What I have right now is first the unstable internet connection. This is, I think, the top one or the most challenging part, both for the students and for the teachers. Because if we don't have a good internet connection, the students will really have a hard time in understanding our lesson or in answering their worksheets or activities. Next is the attention span of the students. Is your lesson that interactive enough or that interesting that the students will be focused until the end of your session, or they will only be there for the first 10 minutes of your class or for your lesson, and then after that, they don't know what to do already or they lose interest. Next is motivation. This is important because we need our students to stay motivated until the end of our lesson so that we know that, of course, they understand the lesson and it's easier for us to monitor them in classes, right? And the fourth one that is here in my screen is adaptability. Okay? Are they having a hard time in using some of the apps? Are they able to adapt with the tools that you are using, with how the setup is going on in your classes? or they are still adjusting. So it really affects on how they learn and answer you in your classes. So again, teachers, continue sharing your experiences or your challenges that you have in your classrooms. It will be also a great help for all of us. Okay, now look here on this poster over here on my screen. Okay, so we are using this kind of poster or chart in our face-to-face classes pre-pandemic. Okay, but we are still using it during our online classes. Now, I want you to type in the comment section or in the chat box, what do we call this specific poster or chart or picture that I am showing to you right now? Do you have any idea, or you can tell it to us? What term do you use, or what do you call this picture or poster that I have here on my screen? Okay? Yes, I can see an answer already. This is what we call the classroom rules, okay? We use classroom rules or online class rules to make sure that our students know what to do or what to follow before you start with the lesson. It is very important to set the mood already, okay? That what you will do is real business, okay? They need to follow these rules to be able to have a very organized class, okay? Next picture. Okay, next. Hello, good afternoon. Last school year rules, okay? We use classroom rules or online class rules to make sure that our students know what to do or what to follow before you start with the lesson. It is very important to set the mood already, okay? That what you will do is real business, okay? They need to follow these rules to be able to have a very organized class, okay? Next picture. Okay, next, I think there is already a clue here on the picture. Okay, you can also tell or type whatever term that you are using in your schools, okay? Or how do you record your attendance, okay, in your own schools? Yes, we call this the attendance sheet, okay? We usually and normally use this to monitor and track the attendance of our students. Thank you very much for those who are typing and sharing to us how they record the attendance of their students. Now let's go to the third one. This one. Most of you are really using this chart or poster pre-pandemic, and I myself is using this as well because this is an effective one for students, especially for grade schoolers. Again, I want you to type in the comment section and in the chat box, what do we call this poster or picture that you can see here on my screen? Yes, I can see an answer again. It is the behavior chart. Okay, as you can see on my screen, there are names of the students and they will be put to the chart wherein it will display their behavior and their participation in class. Okay, for example, Emma is in the amazing corner. It means that she is doing a good job, while Christopher and Hunter has a warning already. Okay, and they will be aware that, oh, I will lose a privilege in just one action, that I will not follow teacher or I will not participate. Okay, so this is very effective, especially with the grade schoolers. And even though for high school students, you can just modify this or adjust how you will use your behavior charts. Okay, so let me just go back quickly about the pictures and the posters that I have shown you a while ago. So these are the tools that we use around the classroom, especially in the pre-pandemic times when we are staying in our physical classrooms. First, it is the classroom rules, the attendance sheets, and the behavior charts. These three charts and the posters are really helpful on how we manage our classes, okay? Because this will help us track and monitor our students' performances. But how will we do that if we shifted from face-to-face learning to online learning? Okay, so that is why I am going to introduce to you another application, and it is Class Dojo. So what is Class Dojo? For some of you who already knows this and are using Class Dojo, please give me hashtag Class Dojo so I know that you are still here with me at this part of my session. Thank you so much. Okay, so Class Dojo is one of the easiest ways, okay, to encourage your student and to motivate every student when it comes to class participation. What do you get when you use Class Dojo? First, it increases the engagement of your students, okay? You can easily track transitions of how your students are performing in your classes. And the third one, there's a lot of toolkit that can help you in performing your classes. Okay, with just one click, it will help you to modify your classroom to a really organized, okay, class. So let me help you go through about Class Dojo by going to the interface. Okay, what you see on my screen is the interface of Class Dojo. All you need in Class Dojo is the email that you are always using. Then you just need to sign in and you can now start with your classes. Okay, so after that, you will be directed to your classes page. I am using these classes for this school year. So let me go to, for example, these classes, 2D, okay, and then I will just be clicking it. Then you can already see the avatar or the students, okay? So each student has a different avatar. My goal is, and my students' goal is to reach 100 points so that they can change their avatar to any avatar that they like, okay? They are really so excited about it. Again, teacher, it will depend on your students' interest, okay? So since I am handling grade 2, they are excited to change their avatars into Among Us characters or some of them Roblox characters, okay? So this is the age where they have a lot of excitement when it comes to characters and cartoons, okay? So since this is the default avatar, I ask them to really gain points and reach 100 points, which is easy because I am using this every day, okay? And as you can see, some of them already has 20 points, some has still 12 points, okay? So I am always weekly showing the points to the boys, okay, to my students. And then after that, I talked about earlier attendance checking. So I use Class Dojo for attendance checking. This is not the official attendance checker in my school, but personally, me as a teacher, just to keep record of my attendance, I use Class Dojo so that if, for example, I miss something, I can always go back and I have a record to that day which student get disconnected or is late in that specific class. So for example, I will click on attendance, and for example, I will be getting a student who is late. I will just mark this green button red, and it will automatically gray the avatar. It means that that student is absent. And when he got disconnected, I will mark it as yellow. It will mark late or if he also gets disconnected. So as easy as that, you can already track the students who are late, present, and absent. Okay, so now let's go to the toolkit. Okay, this is one of my favorite parts and one of the most helpful feature for Class Dojo because there's a lot of tools that you can use in your classes. First is the timer. You can see here different timers. You can also add the timer that you are consistently using in your classes. You don't need to download anymore from YouTube because there are a lot of available timers you can use for your activities when they are answering their assessments. We also have here the random checker. I love using this because most of the time the students are really wants to participate in classes, and just to make sure to monitor and keep track the boys that are not yet reciting, I use this random picker to call a specific student. Okay, so there, as you can see, you can also click the random picker here from the dashboard. So it will just pick a student who wants to read in class. Okay, there. So for example, I called on Jean Allen to read. As you can see, there are a lot of skills, okay, that I can give him a point from completing a task, extra effort. And since I am handling Filipino subject, I also included it in my skill, answering in Filipino, because some of the boys, when they answer my question, it's still in English. So I am giving extra points for the boys who keeps on answering in Filipino. Okay, for example, he answered in Filipino, I will be giving him a point. Okay, they love hearing the sounds, and in Class Dojo, it also motivates them. So even though I am not showing the points that day, but they already hear the sound, I am sharing the sound to them so that they know that they are getting points. Okay, and then for example, I will be calling Steve and he is participating, then I will give him another point for that. That's consistently giving out of points, okay? And I will also give the whole class 1 point for turning on their videos, okay? You can also deduct some points. For example, Jacob, I keep calling him, but he is not answering, or he goes VO without permission. So I can also deduct his points here, and he will be aware of that because, as I've mentioned earlier, you can always give them the link to monitor their Class Dojo points. Okay, we also have here select multiple. Okay, so if you want to select the boys that are on VO, for example, these 3 students are in VO, you can already select that. And you can also give feedback to these students. For example, they go VO without permission, you can deduct their points, or they give extra effort for doing a job well done in your class. So you can do that as well. You can also add skills that you want specifically in your class if you are doing some activities that might not be ready available in the skills, you can always add your own skill in Class Dojo. Another favorite that I am also using is the group maker. So we have here the group maker. You can instantly create groups for your classes without thinking already which group is much better. So this also helps you to save time. For example, you need a group of 3. Class Dojo there in just one click will already give you the group members. So these are all grouped by 3. Another toolkit that I am using is the noise meter. Okay, so the students are aware when I already use the noise meter because they will be seeing that I am tracking their noise. Okay, so when they see this, it means that I am asking them to prepare themselves already. So I am asking them to quiet down, calm down themselves as I go along with the session. Because if I am seeing this at the high peak, then they are not yet ready. Again, you can always use this so that you can remind them that, oh, they need to lower down their voice, or it means that they are not on mute. Okay, that will also remind them about that. Okay, teachers, if you are still here listening at this part of my session, I want you to type in the comment section or in the chat box, what do you think is the best feature that you are excited to use in your classes? Or if you are already using Class Dojo, what is the specific one that you always love to use in your own classrooms? Okay, I would love to see your answers, so you can share it in the comment section and in the chat box. Okay, now what makes Class Dojo different from the other tools? So first, it creates a positive culture, as you can see here in the video that I will be sharing. It always display the skills of the students. So it motivates the students in a good way as well when they are rewarded with the skills that they do. For example, they help a classmate, they consistently turns their video on, they try their best in answering and completing the activity. It creates a positive attitude to the students, okay? So it displays and encourage them to show a positive behavior even though it's an online classroom. It always motivates them to get some points. And when they get used to it, even though there's no dojo points anymore, they will still consistently follow the routines in your classes because they already get the hang of it and they are used to doing that already with or without dojo points. So that's creating a positive culture in your classes. Next, it gives you a better data and feedback. As you can see, while you are doing your lesson, discussing your topic, you can always use Class Dojo side by side, okay? And you can monitor the students who are not participating, or for this week, this student doesn't have enough points yet, so maybe you can call that student more to hear from that student. You can already track whose student is actively participating and who is still struggling, and maybe that student who is struggling in your sessions, you can or encourage him to speak more or to share more his ideas, or maybe just by reading so that he can be motivated in your class discussions, okay? So again, if you have any feature that you already are excited to use in your classes, please type it in the chat box below, okay? Now, let's go to the second tool or to the second application, and this is what we call Pear Deck. Okay, if you are excited to know more about PearDeck, again, teachers, let me get that hashtag PearDeck. Please type it in the chat box. I want to see that you are still here. Okay, thank you so much, teachers. Now, as you can see on my screen, you can see the word interactive presentation. Yes, okay, this will make your presentations more lively and the word itself interactive. That is what PearDeck is about. PearDeck is an interactive presentation to engage the students individual and social learning. So it makes the presentation or the lesson fun and engaging for your students. It is an add-on for Google Slides and add-in for Microsoft. Yes, you heard it right. There's an updated version of Pear Deck already, and it can be installed in Microsoft as well. Okay, but for today, I will just be focusing on how you can use it in Google Slides, how you install and use Pear Deck in Google Slides. Okay, now teachers, I will be showing you two screens. In my screen, you are seeing this side, which is the teacher screen, and this side is the student screen or the student's view. I really showed you two views so that you can see how will you use it when you are managing your class, when you are presenting your classes through the teacher screen or the teacher's view on this corner. And I want you to experience the student's view. So you will see how your students answer it as you go along and go through your presentations. How can you maximize their participation by using Pear Deck? What they can see on their screens, they can see do they see everything, all your presentations? Will it promote fairness to your students, something like that? So I want you to really focus your attention to the screens, okay? So now let's focus on teacher's screen first, or the teacher's view. So this is how you will present Pear Deck and how you apply this in your classes or in your presentations. So I already prepared a simple presentation for this session. It's the Pear Deck sample. I just created 5 slides. So imagine, teachers, just do your everyday routine in making your presentations. As you can see, I just make the presentation, and let's just add Pear Deck to it to make it more interactive. Okay, so you don't really need to do a lot of work anymore. This is your original presentation. Then we just make it interactive by installing Pear Deck. So just click add-ons in Google Slides, and then you will see Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on. If you are not yet installing Pear Deck in your Google Slides, you will see the word install on this portion over here. But since I installed Pear Deck already, it is asking me to open Pear Deck add-on. So I will be clicking on that. As I am waiting for the add-on, you will see already this interface about Pear Deck. Okay, and there, you can already start with your lesson using Pear Deck. As you can see, there are a lot of templates that you can add to your slides. Okay, for example, in this slide, you just want to add a question. This is already the question in your slide, and you want to make it interactive. So you will just choose, okay, how will your students answer it? It would be a text, a multiple choice, or through drawing. It's up to you, teachers. So now, I will be starting my lesson. I will be clicking on start a lesson so that I can choose my lesson mode. Once you click start lesson, Pear Deck will be asking you to choose the lesson mode. So there are 2 lesson modes in Pear Deck. It can be a student-paced activity and an instructor-paced activity. Okay, so student-paced activity, it is recommended if you are going to do review for your classes. You want your students to review some of the topics that they will work on in the test, or it is part of the test or the assessments, and you want them to practice. Student-paced activity is the best option. Or for example, a student missed your classes, he or she is absent for that day. Or for example, that student gets disconnected and wasn't able to finish the activity along with the other students, then you can send them the student-paced activity so that they can answer the lesson and the activity on their own pace and their own time, with the same fields and the same activities that the other students answered online. Next is, for today, I will be using the instructor-paced activity. This is recommended when you are doing your live discussions, okay? Or when you are introducing a new topic and you really want your students to interact with your lesson so that you will immediately know their feedback. Okay, you can also monitor and track their progress when they are answering your activities. Okay, so I will be using the instructor pace. So I will be clicking on that, and I will be directed on a new interface which is shown at my screen right now. Okay, so it is just loading for a while. So again, teachers, if you are still here, okay, comment hashtag PearDeck. So I know that you are still actively listening in my session for today. Okay. Okay, so there you have it. Once you completely click the interface already, you will be seeing the code already that you can send to your students. There are two ways on how you can ask your students to join. One is to ask them to type the code that you can see on my screen. But what I do for easier access for my students is to just click copy link and send this to the chat box. Or for example, when they are having unstable connection, I also send it through the LMS that we are using. Okay, so you can send it to the LMS. For example, in our school, we are using CISO, so I also send it there. So just in case they got disconnected in our Zoom application, they can still get the link in CISO classes. Okay, so I already copied the link. So now let's focus on the student screen. So in the address bar, they will just be copying the link, and let's go to that link. So teachers, again, let's focus on student screen. So I already copied the link from PearDeck. Okay, so then the students will be directed to this page asking how are you feeling today. So you can already see the different teachers from the teacher screen and from the student screen. So I always encourage them to answer how are you feeling today. So for example, I will just choose the happy emoji because I am feeling happy today. Okay, so you can see the difference. And on the teacher's view, you can already see that one student is connected. And in the student's view, they can see already the first page of your presentation. This will already set the mood and let them be aware of what topic will you teach for today. Okay, so as you can see, I can already read my first page or the first slide. Once the students are completed, okay, I will now start the class. But before that, I will open first my dashboard. Okay, this is very helpful. This is the powerful tool in PearDeck, the teacher dashboard. In the dashboard, you can see all the work of your students privately. When I say privately, even though you are sharing screen to your students, this window will not be included. They cannot see this dashboard or this window. Only the owner of the presentation can see the dashboard from your students, okay? So you just continue that. Okay, so there you have it. It looks like the mini presentation that you have, but this will just set as your CCTV. Yes, it's like a CCTV because you will know who's answering, who's not, who typed this particular answer and all that. Okay, and this has the access to each student. Okay, so let's try working on that. Okay, so this is the first slide already. Now let's try to go to the next one. Okay, I will be going to the next slide already where the question is. So as you can see, I will lock the screen. You can see here, okay, some of the tools that you can use. So show responses, unlock screens, new prompt, if you need to change something. What I did before I read the question is I already locked the screen of my students. Some of the students, they are not listening to you anymore. They are excited to answer because they know the answer, or they will just focus the attention not to you but to the question. We don't like it that way because we don't want them to miss important instructions as we discuss the lesson. So first, I lock the slide. So as you can see in the student screen, your teacher has locked responses for this slide. They cannot do anything about it unless I unlock the screen. Then now I will explain. Okay, students, who is the President of the Philippines, please type in the letter of your answer in Pear Deck. Okay, so for example, I will now unlock their screen. They will now focus on students' view, answer the question, click answer the question, and then for example, my answer is letter B. And then see, there's a check mark already. It will tell the students that you are now finished answering with this question. Time is up. Teacher will lock again the screen so that they cannot change their answer anymore. This is good for live discussions, review, okay, formative assessment, okay. So as you can see, it also displays now their current answer as you provide more details about this question. You elaborated it, you discuss more about it, okay. And then for example, you want to discuss their answer, so show responses of the students. Since I only have one student at this moment, it only shows one answer, letter B. As you can see, there is no name of the student here. So it promotes fairness. The class will not see who answered it correctly or who got a mistake at this specific question. Okay, so once, for example, there's 20 answers in this corner, in this part, you can explain that, oh, most of you got it correctly. The answer is B. But for some who didn't get it correctly, I want you to know that letter B is the President of the Philippines. So it's up to you. How will you be discussing it to your students? And now let's use the dashboard. Again, this is privately. Only you, teachers, the owner of the presentations, can see it. If your students can see the answers without any name, in the private dashboard, you can see who answered letter B. And in this case, for example, Lynette del Castillo answered letter B. You can give a feedback already to the student. You can give a star, or you can say, great job, okay? And then send the feedback automatically. So for example, this is a hard question or a challenging one. You can already send the feedback real time immediately to your student, okay? And then let's go back. Let's unlock the screen. So as you can see, there's a notification in the student's view. Okay, so I'll just be clicking it. Okay, there's a teacher feedback and I can already read my teacher's feedback. It says, great job. Okay, so as you can see, real time, you can already address the feedback to your students. So next, what is the national fruit? I'll just lock again the screen and then unlock it. Okay, so for example, while waiting, I want to check in the dashboard who's answering or not. Okay, as you can see in my private dashboard, I am still waiting for responses. It means that my student is not yet answering. Okay, and then in my student's view, I will answer already. For example, I answered apple. Okay, so it will automatically show here in my private dashboard that, oh, this student answered apple. Who answered apple? Okay, oh, Lynette answered apple and it's a wrong answer. So I will be leaving a feedback for her again. Review your answer, something like that. You can also track if this student consistently gets a wrong one. So maybe you can help the student out or repeat the specific topic or question so that the student gets it clearly, something like that. So you have a new feedback. So this is how you are going to use PearDeck in your classes. And also at the same time, for example, this question is finished and then I lock the screen already. And once I check the dashboard, it will show here who are the students who really did not answer or participate. Then maybe I can ask in the chat box, hey, why didn't you answer this portion? So I can already get a feedback that they got disconnected or they are having troubles in signing in. So something like that. You can immediately know what's happening to your students. So basically, that is how I use PearDeck in my classes. So as well as, for example, this new one, they need to drag the icon. So I'm the student, drag the icon to the intestine. Okay, so you will just drag the star. This is also changeable, teachers. You can choose what icon would you love to use in PearDeck. So you can explore on that later on. Okay? Okay, so let's just have a quick recap about what PearDeck is all about. First is that it is student-paced learning. So it is more concentrated on your students. It is a great way to keep students engaged and energized, whether in the classroom or working from remote or hybrid learning environments. Okay? Students respond and receive feedbacks in real time, just like what I showed you earlier. You can immediately monitor and track your students' progress. It removes students' outcomes and efficacy because of the real-time feedbacks and the real-time monitoring. They can already change their answer or they can already learn what's the correct one. And they will also feel motivated and excited, of course, if they know that they are doing well. Okay, so by using the feedbacks, and it also makes the classroom more welcoming, inclusive, and fun, whether in person or online, because as you can see, the feedbacks are sent privately. So it will promote fairness to the students. They know that it was only sent to them if they got a wrong answer and they need to repeat or review their answer. And as well as if they get a correct one, okay, you can also display it to class, showing motivation or encourage the students to answer also. Since their answers are displayed on the screen, there are stars on their answer. Okay, it also gives them a positive feedback. It gives them a happy feeling. Okay. Okay, just some of the important reminders before we end the session. PearDeck is very easy to use. You don't need to download or install a lot of applications or tools before you can use it. You just need three things: a good internet connection, the PearDeck add-on in Google Slides. I showed you earlier to just click on the add-on and install it and add it to your presentation, okay? Then you can start now with PearDeck. Go to joinpd.com and you can now start sending the link to your students, okay? Once they get the link, they will now be directed to your presentations. And now you can already set your presentation using the dashboard. You can already monitor their progress. That's it, teachers. I hope that you can explore and enjoy more about PearDeck. Please continue and start using PearDeck. It's really a helpful tool for your classes. Okay, before I end with my session, let me just remind you why start with Class Dojo and PearDeck now. So first, we want us and our students to learn together. We encourage them to learn positively. We want our students to be engaged, okay, and motivated. And of course, it also promotes independent practice because with Class Dojo and PearDeck, you can use it synchronously and asynchronously. Okay, so it really promotes independent practice. So here are just my tips in using Class Dojo and PearDeck. Okay, if you love my session for today or if you will start using these tools next week as you write your unit plans or your lesson plans, please give me a thumbs up in the comment section or in the chat boxes. Again, please don't forget to set expectations to your students and always, always be positive. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Have a nice day.
Hey, thank you so much, Ms. Lynette, for sharing these powerful tools and effective educational strategies with us. If you look at our comment section right now, you'll be thrilled with all the thoughts and questions that our participants have sent. Once again, let me simply acknowledge our participants from Zamboanga, Laguna, Tacloban, Bulacan, Sorsogon, Camarines Sur, Albay, and from the different parts of the country. It's quite overwhelming, and we're very happy that you have joined us. And we're also happy to know that we have participants all the way from India. Hello to our dear educators watching from India. We are very happy that you have joined us today. Your participation is truly overwhelming, and this is what inspires us to continue our mission here at Tagpros. Now, let's move on to our open forum. We will talk about your comments, and Ms. Lynette will respond to the questions that you have posted in the comment section. Please continue posting your questions and comments so that we can pick them up and include them in our discussion during the open forum. So yeah, perhaps we can begin with our first question. Okay. All right, I think this is, hi, Miss Lynette. Hey, so let's start with our first question. I think this is more of that's something that has to do with the technical side of using PearDeck. So if you use PearDeck, will there be a possibility of Zoom or your online conferencing tool to shut down or hang if you use PearDeck alongside the online conferencing app that you are using? Will there be any conflict? Have you experienced anything like that, Ms. Lynette?
Hello again. Good afternoon, everyone, and to all the participants and viewers that are watching at the moment. Thank you, and good afternoon, Mr. Jaime. Okay, so for this question, I have experienced that when my students are using iPad, they need to go to the PearDeck application first. So they will just ask permission from me if they can turn off their video because they need to go to PearDeck. So this is for the students who are using an iPad. But for the students who are using laptops okay, or personal computers, I encourage them to use another window or another tab so that they can see me, like what I showed in my demo earlier in my presentation. They can see me in Zoom, okay, while I am talking and explaining the things, and they can also see their student screen. Okay, so I did not experience any problem for the students who are using the laptops, okay, and the personal computers. Same with the iPads. It's just that the difference is they need to turn off their video when they are using iPads.
Thank you for clarifying that for our participants, for our educators. Now, many of our participants are using different platforms like Microsoft, okay, Microsoft platforms and Microsoft Office Suite. So can they still use Pear Deck if they are already using Microsoft platform, the Microsoft platform, for example?
Yes, I also mentioned that earlier that with Pear Deck, it's not only limited to Google Slides anymore. So I think for the updated version of the Microsoft Offices, like Microsoft PowerPoint, they call it add-in. So if in Google Slides we call it add-ons, in Microsoft they can add in. Okay, and then they just need to search for Pear Deck.
All right. So, our dear participants, so it's just a matter of calling it with a different name, add on and add in. But definitely, you can still use, according to Ms. Lynette, Pear Deck alongside your Microsoft Office suite, especially PowerPoint. Now, next question. Um, can Of course, these are web browser-based applications, right, Miss Lynette? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
But
yes.
can we still use these tools when we are offline?
Okay. So, thank you. Can you still hear me clearly, Mr. Jerome?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you for that because in my screen it's a bit laggy. Okay. So, the question is, can they still use it when it's offline? So for Pear Deck,
Yes.
um, once you finish the presentation, for example, you finish creating it in Google Slides and or for example in Microsoft PowerPoint, and then you just added Pear Deck. Okay, same with the way I explained it earlier. For example, you got disconnected or a student get disconnected, you can send it to them asynchronously. Just give them the link and automatically, because it's from Google, you can save it offline. But the interaction, when it's interactive, of course, you cannot do it offline. It really requires an internet connection. But the activities, for that moment, you can send it to your students who missed the class. They can check it out through the link that you have sent them. Okay, but the interactive activities, you need an internet connection for that.
So I guess it's really nowadays most of our educational tools and apps require internet connection. So it's a requirement, but in any case, as Miss Lynette explained earlier, that we get disconnected or suddenly our devices shut down unexpectedly, you don't need to worry because we always have Plan B, and our the Pear Deck slides that you have prepared will not go to waste because you can still send it to your students as an asynchronous activity. Wow. So that is truly amazing. Now, from okay, so here is another question. I think this is an interesting one. So, what are the pros and cons? I think some of the pros you have already mentioned earlier, but I think you may want to add some things to what you have already said earlier. And then, what are the cons of Class Dojo and Pear Deck? Okay, so pros and cons.
Okay, so thank you so much for that question again. So I will just repeat what I have said earlier. So the pros, of course, is that PearDeck is very interactive. It encourages your students to be engaged with your topic, with your lesson. You will be able to send them feedbacks right away as you discuss your lesson. You will know who are the students who need help, who struggles, and the students who are actively participating. I think this is also one way to check and monitor your students' progresses. I think the only con that I am experiencing is most of us will experience is the unstable internet connection because this is an interactive activity or an interactive tool, so it's best to use when we have a um, good internet connection. And because I will also add one prospect pala na this is very user friendly because I can also see it from the chat box earlier. It is user friendly. You don't need to redo most of your presentations to make it make a lot of presentations because you will be adding Pear Deck to it. Just do what you are doing, your usual routine, make it student centered, and just click Pear Deck, and that's it. It will be interactive already.
Okay. So I think well, based on your presentation, is that I think what I like most about EdTech is the fact that if I use this in my classroom, I don't need to call each student, one by one. Even if we're doing this, our classes face to face, what I can see is that my students will have the equal opportunity to share their ideas. Like I don't need to disregard the comments of one student just because I don't have enough time to entertain all their answers, right? So that's really powerful. How about Class Dojo? Do you have any do you want to share any pros and cons of using Class Dojo in your
Okay.
classes?
So thank you so much again. So for Class Dojo, the pros is the students are excited. So it is very applicable to all subjects. It is not only applicable for English or for in my subject Filipino because as I've mentioned, you can customize the scale, you can customize how many points do you like to give to your students. It's just a matter of routine, teachers. Okay? So set the interest of your students. Like in my students, their interest is the avatar. So I thought that they will be interested when they will have the power to change their avatars when they get 100 points. Okay, so that's another pros. But the cons of Class Dojo is sometimes, okay, they are asking for their points already. So what I did, one tip teachers, is to give them the link already so that they can view it anytime that they like to view their points, okay? Because you can see it from the settings once you explore on Class Dojo so that every time you have a class, because some of the students will ask, Ms. Del Castillo, what's my points already? How many points do I got? And sometimes it will be distracting to your classes. So one good tip is send them the link at the first part of your session before you begin, and that's they can check it anytime, anywhere their points. Okay, they will also be aware of that.
Thank you so much, Miss Lynn. Now, okay, from Mr. JP Filbert, um, I think we have answered the first question. But the second question, here's a question. I think they've been using other applications similar to PearDeck. So we have Viewboard as a tool comparable to PearDeck. Now, have you tried using Viewboard, and what do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of using PearDeck compared to Viewboard or other maybe other tools that is similar that has a similar function or features as PearDeck?
Okay, Mr. JP Filbert. Okay, honestly, I haven't used Viewboard yet, so I really cannot distinguish and compare these two tools because I honestly was not able to try Viewboard yet. But what I will just say, I think PearDeck is user friendly. Based on my demo a while ago, if you see, it is very easy to add the templates or add interactive tools to your slides. That is one advantage of Pear Deck because you will just choose an interactive tool, just click it, and voila, you have that kind of interactive activity with that slide, okay, with just one click, okay. But I'm sorry if I wasn't able to compare it with Viewboard, Mr. JP, because I really haven't tried it yet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Lynette. I think we have another question over here. How about learners only using cell phones? So I think he's asking about um gadget compatibility. So can the students access Pear Deck if the students are only using smartphones?
Okay, so that is also one advantage of Pear Deck since you can join in two ways, which is you can just simply type in your address bar the text code from your teacher or the link from the teacher, even though all you need is a smartphone, a tablet, or a laptop. In the question, if you are using a cell phone, yes, they can access Pear Deck, okay? They need to do is go to Google Chrome or any web browser that they have in the cell phones and just type the text code. Then they can answer it. Same time, they can also access it asynchronously. They just need the link or the code from their teacher. So
Okay.
even though they are not in the classroom anymore, they have assignment, they need to review that specific presentation from their teacher, even though they're just using a cell phone, they can access all the activities.
Okay. So yeah. And I think we have mentioned earlier that Pear Deck is a web-based application. So, and even Class Dojo, it has an application, but there is also a web version of the app. So even if you don't install anything, as you have said, Ms. Lynette, you can still use um, these applications really well now. Now, how about using Pear Deck for asynchronous class? Can we use it for asynchronous classes?
Yes, I am. I also I tell it a while ago that they can use Pear Deck both synchronously and asynchronously. As I've mentioned in my talk a while ago, that Pear Deck has two lesson modes: the student paced activity and the instructor paced activity. If you are going to use Pear Deck for asynchronous sessions, it is recommended to use the student pace activity so that your students can do it at their own pace and at their own time without missing any activity, without missing any presentation.
Right. Now, another technical question is Pear Deck. Is it okay to install Pear Deck and Class Dojo in a netbook? Is the app not too heavy? Maybe in terms of storage capacity, maybe RAM usage.
Oh, Mr. Jaime? Okay, so I will just base the question from this badge. Okay, so is it okay to install Pear Deck and Class Dojo in Netbook? Again, teachers, these two applications are web-based. So you really don't need to download it from your laptops or iPads because all you need to do is to access the link. For Class Dojo, just give them the link or go to classdojo.com. Then that's you can already access the website. For Pear Deck, okay, it is just an add-on in Google Slides, and it will just take a very um, minimum capacity in your Google Slides. It will not really take a lot. But what I can say, what tip can I give you when you are presenting your lessons using Pear Deck is that whenever you are sharing it to your class, do not open any other tabs. Like for example, you have YouTube, you have Facebook, or you have Netflix open in the background of your presentations. Okay, since you are going to start a class, please clear all your browsers or your tabs just to be safe when you are presenting Pear Deck. But I really don't experience that much error while I am presenting. That's just a safety tip to close all the tabs that is unnecessary when you are presenting your lesson, especially when you're using Pear Deck. Another question. Okay, there.
All right. Okay. Do I sound clearer now? Sorry for that. There is a technical issue. Okay. So let's move on. For our next question from Miss Nichelle to malaman. So are these apps available in Google Play Store?
Okay, so Pear Deck, I wasn't able to check if it is already in Play Store because as I've mentioned, it's web-based application. So my tip teachers to save also your memory, you don't really need to download these applications. They are easier access using the website, okay? So that you can also look at everything, the settings, maximize all the benefits that you can get from these two applications in the website, okay? Because to save also your memories from your RAMs, from your laptops, you don't really to download the teachers. It's safe to use the website. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Miss Lynette, we know that I think you have already mentioned this, but Pear Deck is a free application, right? Am I correct?
It's a free
Yes.
application.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. But are there premium features for the paid app or for the paid subscription? And is there a promo for Pear Deck? Do they give like an educational promotion, like what it used to be Canvas, okay, Canva for education, for example?
Okay. Um, so first of all, Class Dojo and Pear Deck is a free application. Okay, a while ago, someone
Mhm.
asked if it's downloadable from the Google Play Store. Yes, it is. However, I really don't recommend download it, downloading it anymore because it's much better to use it using the website. Or if you're using a phone, you can also access it using the website as well. Okay, just to save your memory. But if you have bigger memory, there's no problem. You can download it from the Play Store. And then again, um, the teacher dashboard that I presented earlier is included in the premium feature of Pear Deck. Okay, so maybe you will lose interest already that, oh no, it's a premium feature, the teacher dashboard. But teachers, my tip for you is to always use Pear Deck. If you already sign up for Pear Deck at this very moment, you will experience 30 days free trial, okay, of the premium feature for Pear Deck. Okay, so download or sign up now for Pear Deck and you will have the 30 days premium feature. Okay, and once you are always using Pear Deck, okay, Pear Deck will notice you and they will be sending you an email, okay, if you want to avail. Okay, they have a discounted price for the premium feature. I think for this moment, the last week I checked, it's only 500 pesos. So please use Pear Deck, okay? And 500 pesos teachers is a great investment, especially if it's for our students, okay? If it will be for good classroom management and for interactivity. So teachers, sign up now so that you will experience the 30 days free trial of Pear Deck Premium feature.
Wow, that's great, Lynette. Thank you for sharing that tip with all our participants. So, dear teachers, use Pear Deck and avail of those promos. Now, is Class Dojo applicable, or maybe can it be integrated with Microsoft PowerPoint as well? Miss
Yes,
Lynette?
teachers, you can use Class Dojo even though you're using different presentations, Microsoft PowerPoint, Keynote, Google Slides, because this is just a rewards system, or Class Dojo is to engage your students. Okay, so you can, if you're using a Microsoft PowerPoint or Keynote or Google Slides, if you have a cell phone with you, you can open your Class Dojo in your cell phone or iPad or tablet, or just open another tab, then monitor the rewards from your students while you are presenting your lesson. And then my tip is to adjust the volume to the maximum volume so that they can hear the sound, that while you are discussing, they will really know that, oh, teacher is really giving me points while I am doing this, while I am doing that. Okay, so that's a nice tip, teachers.
Okay, thank you. For our next question, um, okay, for paired from Miss Amor Padilla. Okay, so do we have to sign up to to be able to make use of the Class Dojo like any other apps online? And maybe let me add one more question to that because it's almost similar. Uh, with Pear Deck, do we also need to create an account to be able to use the application? So like, do they need to get your information and sign up and register and things like that? Yes.
Yes, it is recommended really teachers to sign up using an account, especially sign up the account that you are always using or that you are using in school. If you have a school email, please use that, because it is much better to track your students when you are using your school accounts or the emails that you are consistently opening or using. Okay, because of course, when you sign up, you need to add your classes, you need to add your presentations, so that you only have one place to go when you need to access all of it. So signing up is recommended.
Yeah, and I think same with most of the applications, educational applications nowadays. You can simply use the email or your Gmail account for this, right? So it's really very easy to sign up. Okay, from Mr. Eduardo Junior Pua. Um, okay, so can PearDeck be used asynchronously or just synchronous? Okay,
Okay, so I think I answered this question
yeah.
a while ago already, but I will repeat it, that you can use Pear Deck both synchronously and asynchronously. It really depends on your presentation, teachers. Okay, if you need to do an asynchronous session, maybe make your presentation more on that part. But you can always um, change or edit, customize your presentations through the use of Pear Deck. It will only enhance your presentation. But to answer your question, yes.
Okay. Okay. So all right, this one is interesting. Should our students download the same app for them to participate using the different apps? So I think this is important because as a teacher, you know that you need to install or connect your Google Slide, for example, with an add-on, and then you need to download the app if you're using Class Dojo. How about the students? If they're using Class Dojo, do they need uh, the Class Dojo app? And if you're using Pear Deck as a teacher, do the students need a Pear Deck app to open your presentations and join the interactive slides?
Okay, so to answer the question before I explain it is no, they don't really need to download both Pear Deck and Class Dojo just to access it. So just that's also an advantage, because if the student is using just a cell phone, like most of you are typing a while ago, then it will save the space and capacity of your storage. Okay,
Mhm.
They just need the link. So once they access the links, for example, I will be sharing them that, hey, this is your link for your Class Dojo point. What they will be directed to the website. Okay. Same with Pear Deck. When I ask them to join the text code or the Pear Deck presentation, they will be directed to the website as well. So they don't need to download these two apps. But if they are capable, or their gadgets or devices are capable in downloading the applications, then it's much better. But it's not really
Mm,
recommended.
okay. So thank you again for clarifying that with us, Miss Lynette. Now, um, I think what I can really share with our participants right now, maybe they're thinking, oh, this is another application. Maybe some of them are very excited, but there are some who may think that uh, this may need some time for them to learn and study. The peer teachers, we would really love for you to try these applications out, but please don't be pressured in any way or form. To immediately use these applications. Take time and then see if it really works for you. And if it really will help your students um, learn better, whether online or in face to face. And with that, I would like to really thank Miss Lynette for giving us or sharing with us her expertise, sharing with us her knowledge about these applications, and not only the applications, but also the strategies, the things that work in her class. I think because that's what is most important. These applications, again, are just tools that we use in our classes. And the most important part is the strategy and our contribution to these applications. So again, thank you so much, Ms. Lynette. And that ends our open forum. Now, if you have any further questions, you may still forward them to us at Tagpros Facebook page, and we will try our best to give you the answers that you were looking for from our guest speaker. Now, tell us your thoughts about today's webinar workshop in the evaluation form. The link is presented on the screen as well as on the comment section. Answering the evaluation form is necessary for claiming the e-certificates. Reminder, you have 1 week to answer the evaluation form to get an e-certificate. So once again, we are showing you the link to the evaluation form on the screen. All right, and that ends today's webinar workshop and this webinar workshop series. The live webinar workshops will be back on November 20, and we will be joined with Mr. Alfonso Mangubat of Tokyo West International School, and he will talk about how we can make student learning personalized and contextualized. There will be some changes in the schedule of our webinars. Our live webinars will be on the first and third Saturdays of the month only. But I would like to encourage everyone to watch out for our new digital shows for the second and fourth week of the month. Okay, so these new things are very exciting, and we want you to be part of this new endeavor that we are trying out. Now, for our CPD accredited webinar, for those who signed up, check your emails because we have just sent out the invitations. Don't forget to RSVP to reserve a slot. As always, keep updated with Tagpros education by following our official social media pages. Invite your family and friends as well. Again, I am Jerome Jaime, and thank you for joining us today.
As we transition to the new normal, we have left others behind. We need to reimagine and redesign our educational system. With the collective effort of schools, sponsors, and Tagpros learning management system, and core of passionate teachers, we can deliver free education and champion the cause of our students. Together, we would be able to teach, inspire, and serve, because Tagpros believes that education is a right all children deserve.